the US is in its weakest fiscal position since World War II, with debt to GDP at 122%. Can America, can the West afford another war at this time?
I think the answer is absolutely. America can certainly afford to stand with Israel and to support Israel's military needs. And we also can and must support Ukraine in its struggle against Russia. And look, the American economy is doing extremely well.
Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. I want whatever Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is having in that interview with Britain Sky News. Maybe it was those psychedelic magic mushrooms she ate in China. I mean, honestly, what else explains the delusion of Yellen telling the world that our economy is doing absolutely fantastic and that we can easily afford 2 wars? Wasn't White House spokesperson John Kirby telling Ukraine last week to shove it because they're salivating over renewed war in the Middle East? Okay, well, technically he didn't tell them to shove it. He said their aid from us isn't indefinite and it's coming to the end of the line, something they never said before. So obviously there are different factions in power right now vying for control over our foreign policy. And have you noticed that it's only our crazy politicians like Senator Lindsey Graham calling for us to go to war with Iran to help Israel, whereas that's not what Israeli leaders want. They aren't looking for us to fight their wars and to fund their entire nation like Ukraine wants from us. So obviously the military-industrial complex is overplaying its hand here. Also, it bears mentioning here as well, what does Yellen even mean by us having a strong economy right now? This is the same lady who promised us up and down that inflation was only transitory, so don't worry about it. And then she helped to redefine the word recession to cover her tracks. And she can point out all these statistics that say unemployment is low and that everything is looking great. But as we talked about on this show at length last week, at great length actually, job creation is largely centered in the government sector, which means takers and not producers, more of them. And also, the increase has been in part-time work. We've lost 700,000 full-time jobs since June. People are working more to be paid less, all while prices are increasing. The devil truly is in the details. Joining us now to discuss is Craig Huey, the publisher of the Huey Report and the host of the Huey Alert podcast. Thanks for being here tonight, Craig.
Kara, it's great to be with you.
Great. So it's no secret this market hasn't been free, and this economy hasn't worked for the average American in years since the left's long march through the institutions captured it all, would you say?
You know, what we have right now is the regulatory state. What we have right now is fantasy economics. You know, Biden goes around talking about Bidenomics and how it's done this miraculous transformation of our culture and our politics and our society. And you saw it with Janet Yellen, our Secretary of Treasury should know better, is talking about we have unlimited amount of money to be able to spend any way we want, and that we don't have to worry about fighting 2 wars. We don't have to worry about fighting 3 wars. We don't have to worry about printing more money. We do have to. We right now, everybody who's watching your show goes to the market, and what they're experiencing is the most immoral tax ever. It's called inflation, and it's caused by Janet Yellen and the entire kind of, if you will, the deep state that is figuring out ways to spend taxpayers' money without getting enough taxes to cover it. It's overspending, and it's the Federal Reserve which has increased the money supply so much beyond the production of goods and services that we're seeing a hike in inflation, 18% since 2021 when President Biden came into office. So, Kara, we are seeing before us right now with this whole issue with what's going on in Israel, an absolute need to take a look at our financial house and make sure that we're able to afford what we're going to spend.